Bunny Show live.
Sex saves marriages. Some say I'm a goddess with both brains and compassion. I say I'm 20% girl brain and 100% fun. I want to help you navigate the labyrinth that is the female mind. If you're not having sex with her, what are you even doing? It's only too much sex when it interferes with your mission. What we're talking about translates not only into success with women, but into social and business interactions across the board with anyone. I want you to win in life, in business, and primarily in sex. I'm like Dr. Ruth meets Nina Hartley, except I only take my clothes off in public when there's tequila shots involved. I'm so excited for the show. Are you ready? Let's do this. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to our lounge from last night. This is the Bunny Show live, and I am so happy that you are here. Added kudos to any of you who are doing a turnaround from last night. If you were here for Fort Worth and my inaugural Saturday night drinks and AUA with Fort Worth and I right here last night about, 13 hours ago, and then turned around and are here with me for Bunny Church. Kudos to you. You are badass. Tonight, this morning, whatever time of day it is, I've got my coffee, don't worry. This morning, I want to run through a list of the 20 most frequently asked questions that Fort Worth and I get, not only in consultations, in chat, in DMs, on the post feed, you name it. These are kind of basic questions that we get asked a lot. So we compiled this list. A couple of these topics that I'm going to hit on, and I'm not going to go super deep diving today. I'm going to give a few kind of minutes to each question, and just kind of give the basic overview from a female perspective and kind of decipher it through that girl brain that you guys love to play in so much. So I'm going to do that. Like I was saying, a couple of these questions we did go deep with last night in our show. If you missed that, not only can you look at it here on YouTube, but you can also check it out in full on our Twitter. So on our Twitter X. So if you missed the Saturday night, Ask Us Anything. Good morning, Sarah. I'm so glad you're here. You are a rock star for making that turnaround. I just want to give you a little bit of kudos because you were here last night and again this morning. I love that. So we're going to do some just like quick answer to the 20 top questions that Fort Worth and I get so often that they just bear repeating. All right. Number one, when should I ask a girl out? As soon as you get the desire to, is the easy answer. You're not going to talk a girl into dating you or going out with you. You're not going to talk her into it. And if you need to, it's probably not going to be that fun a date. It's going to feel very contrived. It's going to feel very forced. But if you have the desire to ask her out, if you've got the inkling that she is giving those return on investment, she's giving those, I can't think of the word right this second. My brain's a little addled this morning, but she's giving you indicators of interest. That's what I'm going for. She's touching you. Her eyes are bright. She's laughing at your jokes. She's reaching for you. She's not pulling away if you reach out to touch her. These are some indicators of her interest that go a long way in knowing whether it's a good time to ask her out for that next step. So ask her out for a more formal meetup. So when to ask a girl out, it's as soon as you feel like she'll say yes, essentially. And then if she says no, don't flip out. And I say this over and again, but your responses versus your reactions will go a long way in ensuring that either she circles back, even if she says no, or maybe she talks you up to a friend. Referral pussy is often really good. So make no mistake, if this girl says no, she may very well be like, I've got this guy that it's not good timing. I didn't click with him, but I think you would really like him, and referral pussy is awesome because then you've got people going, I think you'd like her. I think you'd like him. It goes a long way. It's like a next step, and it kind of like skips a step. Number 2, when should you contact a girl after first time sex? We like to say the next, so let's say on a Friday night, you go out the first time, you bang. So the next night, like 24 hours up to 36 hours. So depending on like the time of day that you first hook up with a girl, I suggest not letting 2 full days pass, but 1 gives us a little bit of time to kind of mull you over in our heads, think about how hot the night was, and just let our imaginations work in your favor. It goes a long way. I don't think that this can be expressed enough, that allowing our imaginations to work for you is a huge factor in building our attraction for you. In this example of you banging first on a Friday night, and then maybe you don't contact her Saturday night, but you do Sunday morning, that is a great turnaround because she can only assume that you're out on another date on Saturday night and banging another girl, and that makes those wheels turn, and it's hot. It's hot even for most of the most pent-up girls. Girls want a guy that other girls want and desire and want to sleep with. So the idea, even if you're actually sitting at home, like with your bros, like gaming or watching a football game, or, whatever you guys do when we're actually not around, even if you're doing that, just not contacting her goes a long way in letting her brain kind of think of scenarios of what you might be doing, and she may be reaching out to you. So why liking a girl turns her off. Listen, if you've got a wife and 3 kids and your wife is pregnant with your 4th child, she needs to know you like her. She needs to know. But still, hanging on her all the time, showering her with gifts and compliments, just kind of being overly expressive with your feelings and emotions is a highly female quality. It's effeminate. It's not masculine. It's not sexy. It's not what strong men do. Strong men will protect their woman. They will make sure that their family feels safe. They'll do all of these things. There's a vast difference between being overly emotional in your expression of your affection for her and being a strong leader who always serves and protects and keeps the family safe and together. So there's a difference. There's a difference. Like I like to tell this brag story on Fort Worth where we were bringing groceries in, and which this goes to show it's been a while because we rarely actually purchase our own groceries because I swear by delivery services. But we were hauling our groceries in and we heard a gunshot. We live in an entertainment district, so make no mistake, it's it's not dangerous. It's just, this is kind of something that you hear every once in a while. We heard a gunshot, and I've never seen this man move so fast as he did that night. He had his weapon drawn. He had the groceries down. Like, he had everything instantly before I could even register what was going on. And he was in action. Thankfully, he didn't have to do anything beyond that. Thank God. But a woman who knows that her man will do that, that is a woman that, or a man that she is going to hold on to. If he just wanted to shower his compliments on me, if he just wanted to shower me with gifts, if he just wanted to hug on me and love on me and always be like, and we spend a lot of time together, but there's a difference in the masculine kind of leadership love and being overly effeminate with your affections. How to sexually lock a girl in. Number 4, how to sexually lock a girl in. The key is you bang her the first time. Then you bring her back like the next day. You bang her again. Then sometime in the next 2, 3, 4 days tops, you bring her back, you bang her again. Now, the very first time, make no mistake, you may fuck all night long. You may come 5 times over the course of your first encounter together, whatever it is for you. The first meetup, the first encounter is one time. Okay. So in this scenario of how to sexually lock your girl in on your cock, that first meetup is 1. Next day is 2. Then sometime before the week is out, preferably just another 2 to 4 days tops, is 3. After 3, more times than not, she is chasing you. She is locked in on you. You can actually back off of your attention and your like focus on making sure that she's going through the steps, because she oftentimes, then we get into like, girls are in charge of relationships, guys are in charge of sex. Once she's locked in on your cock, and this goes whether you're fuck buddies, whether you're friends with benefits, or whether you're actually trying to make this girl a girlfriend, she kind of takes over. She starts reaching out to you more. She is asking to see you. She's looking for excuses to do things for you and with you. So even if she still becomes, after that initial week, if she just becomes a once a week girl, that is what we say is our ideal. If you're running any sort of rotation, or at least trying to give the appearance of running a rotation. So this is how you lock her in, and then you treat her accordingly, depending on where you want her in your life. Whoo! Number 5, the number 1 mistake men make in texting a girl, and that is easy. Over texting, giving more than you're getting, double texting, triple texting, quadruple texting. When you send a message, we all have our phones with us every moment of every day. And most often, no one is so busy that they can't respond in pretty quick measure. So if she's not responding, it's not because she didn't see it. She saw it. She saw the question. She saw the text. She saw the message. She saw the sexy picture. She saw whatever it was you sent her. If she didn't respond, and it's been 2 hours, 5 hours, 24 hours, if she hasn't responded, that's by design. Do not reach back out to see if she got it. It doesn't work that way. The only exception, and this is a rare exception, we didn't even talk about this one last night. The only exception to the double texting rule is something that Fort Worth is a master of. He will text, and he did this early on too. This is something that he just does, and it's hilarious. He will text like individual letters for every so usually it's like slut or hey woman. It's not like an entire sentence, but it's some like just off the wall thing. And he'll say S L U T. There you go. He's doing it in the chat box now. It's hilarious because you're getting notification, and you're like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's funny. It's lighthearted. It's hilarious. It doesn't take a lot of effort, but this is the only exception to the double, triple, quadruple text rule, is doing something like that. It's just fun. It's playful. It says that you don't take yourself too terribly seriously in a negative way. It says that you don't take her very seriously or her time, which is a good thing. Even high-powered corporate girls really, truly, when it comes to romance and sex and attraction, they don't want to be taken all that seriously. We get taken seriously in so many areas of life. We don't want our romances to be heavy and just fraught with heaviness and seriousness. There are very few exceptions to this rule. All right. Woo! Number 6. 3 easiest ways to improve your text game. Number 1, less is more. So just like what we were just talking about, give her less than she gives you. If she sends you a paragraph, send her a line. If she gives you a novel, say, too long, didn't read. Like, it's easy, even if you did read it, it's easy to overinvest in girls and come off as having too much time and energy on your hands to invest in her, especially on the front end. So text her less than she texts you. There's always the golden rule of, for every 3 of her interactions, you give 2. And I think that's a little heavy still. I would say like 4 to 1. So, for every 4 lines, you give her 1. For every 4 messages, for every 4 calls, let her chase you once you have her locked in on you. Okay. Before that, text is really only used for logistics. Get her in front of you. No punctuation. Take yourself less seriously in text than any other time. You may be a ball buster. You may be a leader in industry. You may be the president of your company or your country. But if you will just be playful and fun and have a good time with your texts with her, don't take it too seriously. Don't over text. Don't use a lot of punctuation, and do not use emojis, because emojis are for teenage girls. And the only guys who use them with regularity have teenage daughters. And so they think they're the norm, but do not use them. Number 7, be the fun guy. And how to be the fun guy. Let me make it real clear that we are turned on by guys who are lighthearted, fun to be around, and give us good feelings. It's not about you being the class clown or the court jester. This is about you making sure that we have good feelings when we think about you and when we're around you. So be entertaining, keep the conversation going, keep it lighthearted and fun. Don't bring up heavy topics. Don't make conversation about like some of the taboo topics, politics, religion anymore. I would say like sexual revolution, orientation, all these kinds of things that are just not sexy topics and tend to trigger people. Now, I would love if it was in an ideal world, if you weren't out on a date with anyone who could possibly get triggered by any of these things. But the reality is it happens. And you don't know, with a new girl in front of you especially, you don't know where those boundaries are just yet. So it's best to just keep it to fun topics and lighthearted stuff. Even if you have been friend with benefits, even if you're a social circle friend, even if you've been banging for years, it's still good to make sure that the girl you're in front of just has pretty, over the top good feelings about you and nothing too heavy. So keep it light, keep it fun, enjoy your time together, and then exit stage left. Whoo, number 8. I'm running through these. Like I said, I'm not trying to go deep. I've done some deep diving on other shows. We did some deep diving on several of these questions last night on the AUA. I want to give you from the female perspective why these things work and how to do it best, most efficiently, because I'm all about efficiency and effectiveness. How to run gym game. The key to gym game is that it has to be a long game plan. So what I suggest as a general rule of thumb, and it works consistently, is if you see a girl in the gym that you are interested in, give it about 3 to 6 weeks, depending on how frequently you see her. If you see her on occasion, sporadically, upwards of 2 times a week, then give it a longer time. Give it 6 weeks. She needs to become familiar with you, and she needs to associate you with non-threatening familiarity. If you see her 3 to 5 times a week, 3 to 6 times a week in the gym with regularity, then you've got familiarity that builds up more quickly. This goes a long way in accelerating the time that it takes to be able to become safe and familiar to her, to where you can approach her more readily and more quickly. So the familiarity stage, that 3 to 6 weeks, is strictly making eye contact and smiling, sometimes waving, sometimes like being in the same vicinity, but not trying to talk to her. Do not interrupt her workout. Do not give her compliments. Just become a familiar face. Gym game is a long game, and you would think in theory that gym game would be quicker, only because when you're in there, oftentimes you're around hot, sweaty people. It's a very sexualized environment, but anymore, especially, girls are so leery of guys coming up to them. Make no mistake, all the girls are dressing sexy. They want the attention, but they want it cautiously and carefully, and you will get shut down if you approach too quickly. I'm giving you a tried and true, like, this works, and it works consistently game plan. So 3 to 6 weeks to get familiar. Then you work in on a set. Are you finished with this machine? Are you trying to make sense of that? Are you done with this equipment yet? Like, can I work in with you? Or you just start to work out a little bit closer, just a little bit closer. You kind of work in, and you maybe, hey, how are you today? Instead of just the occasional hi or wave across the room or just eye contact, you actually just say, hey, how you doing? But then you don't continue conversation. You don't keep going, okay? So you're familiar. You've gone through your familiarity phase, and then you become a safe guy to just say hey to. No pressure. There's no pressure. You do not ask her out yet. Eventually, after, and I would say it doesn't take long. I would say if you're seeing her 3 times a week in the gym, you've gone through your familiar. Why do I keep trying to say this word that I'm having trouble with? Familiarity phase. And then you say, hey, how you doing today? How's the day going? How's the week treating you? I can't believe how fucking hot it is outside. Whatever kind of one-liner that's super neutral and super small talky that you say, then you do that for about a week. Not many times. In time, by this point, she will start making herself more available to you to talk to. She will make sure that she's in your vicinity. She will make sure that she's working out close to you. She will make eye contact with you. She may start talking to you. Then you can really start having real conversation, you know, keep it short, keep it sweet. And then, hey, you want to go to this, you know, I've got this thing this weekend. Do you want to, you know, go to this club around the corner from my place? Do you want to go to this arch opening? Whatever the case is for your pickup, then you can ask her out. And it's super relaxed, low pressure. She's familiar with you. You're safe. Whoo, that was fun. All right. Number 9, you have no competition. If you are in this neck of the woods at all, my bet is that you are a high achieving man who is confident and charismatic, or is at least working towards that end. So it goes a long way in realizing that you have no competition out in the real world. And the more you embody that in your attraction and you're meeting up with women, the better off you are, and the easier it is for you to slough things off when things don't necessarily go your way. You're not reactive because you've got 10 other women in the pipeline. If you're rejected, you don't have to worry about it. It's just one kind of dropping off, or if one of your plates and running a rotation, you know, is like, comes to you and says, listen, one of these guys that I've been seeing, he's getting a little bit more serious. I think he's gonna ask me to marry him, so I can't see you anymore. This is not an unheard of scenario. Make no mistake, girls will get all the way to an almost proposal before they stop fucking other men. So just get that out of your head right now. But the less reactive you are, the better off you will be, because you have no competition. And the more you embody that, the better it comes through in your confidence. It comes through in the way you present yourself. It comes through in the way you dress and carry yourself, and your posture, and just your aloof indifference and outcome independence. These go a long way, a long way. Hey, Nicholas, let's see. Let me see if he's adding anything. Last night, I talked about the woman I had a situation kind of relationship with. Her former male neighbor actually lives with his parents. Yeah, I figured that whenever you were talking about that last night on our AUA, I figured he must like live with the parents, because it sounded kind of like he was in and out of the house a little bit. So that's pretty interesting. Nailed it. Like Fort Worth and I said last night on the Saturday night show, we want to be wrong, but usually we pretty much piece things together pretty easily. All right, number 10. What? Oh, and I will say before I go on, Nicholas, congratulations. You closed down the place with us last night, and you're back here this morning. So kudos to you, man. Number 10, what is plausibility? What is plausible deniability, and why is it necessary? Plausible deniability is giving me, the woman that you're out with, an excuse and kind of a pass to come up to your place, to come home with you, to allow you in her front door when you're dropping her off, in order to have sex with her. She knows what's going to happen. She knows that you're going to bang, most likely, but it gives her an excuse. So examples of this. Fort Worth has a great affinity for original artwork. I also have a great affinity for original artwork, long before him. So we were talking about his art collection. It's a great way to get me up to his apartment that first time is, do you want to see that piece that we were talking about? You know, I've got to show you this piece real quick. He loves to say, you know, he loves to give the example of, I own a midget. You want to come and meet him? You know, you want to see my guitar collection? I'll play you a song. None of this has to actually happen once you actually get her into your apartment. It goes out the window. It's plausible deniability. It's just the story that she gets to tell as to the reason why she came into your place in the first place. And then sex can just happen. It just happened. I was looking at his art, and I was just, we had another drink, and it just happened. And it was an amazing night, and I had the best time. And I'm glowing now. This is what plausible deniability will do for you in your dating. Girls need an excuse so that we don't feel like sluts for just coming up to your place and having sex. We need a reason, and that's where plausible deniability comes in. Number 11, one weird trick for confidence, for self-confidence. Hey, baby, what was that?
You don't hold doors.
Oh, that's right. That
don't be as polite.
You. I love when we put a list together, but then I don't like make any notes as to what the answer is. I was not expecting this one. One easy trick to make sure that your self-confidence is always intact is to think of yourself in all situations as the most important, most exciting, most exhilarating person in the room. Your time is more valuable than hers. Now, there's a rub, as with most things. I was raised with gentlemanly manners, holding doors for women, letting them go first through an entry, holding chairs open, pulling chairs out for women, opening car doors, things of this nature. But if you do it too much from the beginning, she tends to walk all over you. She tends to think of herself as this princess up on a pedestal that you are serving. Make sure that girls, especially girls that you're not in deep relationship with, make sure that girls that you're just banging, girls that you don't have a serious vested interest in, girls who aren't the mother of your children, understand that your time is valuable. Instead of opening the door or tripping all over yourself to have great manners, don't run ahead just because you see a female generally approaching a door. Don't run ahead and pull the door open. The exception to this, if she's your grandmother, she's 80 years old, she's got a walker, hold the door open. Hold the door open for her. Don't trip all over yourself to hurry to the chair to pull it out for her at dinner. Do these kinds of things because you value your time over hers always. It's a great self-confidence hack that will give you a leg up on the competition. Again, you have no competition, and the more you can embody that in your everyday life, the better off you will be with in attraction and with the opposite sex. Number 12, the 20-second rule and why it works. This is not original to us, but it works. We've used it. It goes a long way. You can use this. You can use this with your girls. You can use this with your rotation girls. You can use this with your sister or your daughters. It works. So the 20-second rule is when a girl is throwing a fit. She's mad about something. She's wanting to scream and yell, and you say, stop. You have 20 seconds to vent everything that you want about whatever it is that's up your ass right now. You've got 20 seconds to get it all out, and then that's it. I don't want to hear about it again. We might circle back and talk about it later if it's important enough, but for the most part, get it out, and then we're going to go on about our evening. And then you do that. More often than not, she will spout for about 10 seconds and then run out of things to say. It's the most remarkable thing. She really doesn't have all that much. She just wants to feel heard. So if she has a platform, a stage for 20 seconds, and she says everything that's on her mind and everything that's pissing her off, and she's screaming and she's spitting and she's mad, and then at 20 seconds, you go, okay, That's enough. You've said what you wanted to say. Now we're done. Let's go to dinner, or is dinner ready yet? Or let's continue this. I paused this movie so that you could spout your shit. We're going to watch this movie. We're going to have a great night. If then she keeps going, you have her get her stuff and leave your place. If you live together, if you're married, then you say, I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out. I'll see you in a little bit. And you don't tell her where you're going, when you're going to be back, and you don't answer her texts or her calls while you're gone. This works. You only have to use it once or twice, and she'll either get the message or she'll realize that she wants someone who feeds her drama more than you will. But more often than not, you being the controlling leader of this relationship, that wets more pussies. And then she does not misbehave in that way. She does not approach things. She knows that you're not a man who can be handled in that way. And it goes a long way in your future disagreements and how she respects you, which is the biggest factor. Is a girl who won't shut up does not respect you in any way, shape, or form. Number 13, slow down to attract women. Walk more slowly, speak more slowly. If you are excited, if you're excitable, that is effeminate. It seems a little chaotic. It seems a little overwhelming. It is absolutely not sexy. A confident man is one who paces himself and sets his own rhythm. So in a club, in sexual interactions, in just meeting, or in deep relationship, if you are the controller of the speed of things, of the conversation, of the interactions, of the attraction, of the sex, it goes a long way in just continuing to build her sexual attraction and responses to you. So it goes a long way when you slow things down a little bit. You talk more slowly, and it's not about you speaking like you've got some brain injury or something. It's just not talking in an excited manner, not talking like a female, not having to spurt it all out so quick that you can hardly get your breath. It's about you being measured and confident in what you're saying and how you're saying it and what you're doing and how you're moving through the world. All right. 14, yes girls versus no girls. Yes girls are agreeable to you. They're down for whatever you have to suggest. They're enthusiastic about you and what you want to do, whether it's run errands or go on a vacation. They're down for it. No girls, their first response to everything is no. They're not down for having sex right now. They are not down for going, dropping everything and going to the mountains. They're not down for anything that you suggest. They're not down to try new sexual things. So if you have a yes girl and a no girl that you're seeing, and you're trying to kind of decide between which one fits better into your life, 9 times out of 10, with very few exceptions, it's the yes girl. She's going to be easier to be around. She's more enthusiastic. She's excited to be with you. She brings the energy. She's always open to what you suggest, and she's not challenging you at every turn. Now, there is a middle ground. There are maybe girls, and no girls can't generally be turned into yes girls, but maybe girls, the ones who are cautious, but more often than not do go along eventually. But they just kind of have to process it a little bit more. Generally, they may be a little bit more shy, a little bit more reserved. But maybe girls can become yes girls. And make no mistake either that a yes girl for you or a no girl for you could be a yes or a no girl. She could be the opposite for someone else. So just because she's a yes girl for you does not mean that she has that kind of enthusiasm for every man that she's ever been with. And just because she's a no girl for you doesn't mean that she's not a yes girl for someone else. So I suggest, for the quality of your life, for the sake of your sexual relationship, for the sake of your quality of life and relationships, that you eliminate as many no girls from your life as you possibly can, because they're going to drag you down. You're always going to have to be kind of talking them into and dragging them into stuff. And that's no fun for anyone. No one enjoys that. No one enjoys that. All right. Number 15, why men should date younger women. The answer is simple. Women your age, and this is anything beyond, let's say, 25 years old as a man. Women your age see you as peers. Women do not respect their peers. They respect men who have a little bit more experience, have a little bit more knowledge, and have a little bit more know-how. So if you, as a man, are 25 years old, we suggest dating, and we're never talking about like dating an illegal number. We're not talking about like dating 16-year-olds here, weirdos. But if you're 25, maybe 5 years younger, 3 to 5 years younger. Once you hit 30, 35, dating 8 to 10 years younger, this goes a long way in your pleasure, your happiness, the way others view you. Because make no mistake, other people will judge you by who you are with, who you're dating, who you're seen with, who you marry. They will judge you as a man by these standards. So it's important that you date younger. Once you get into 40s, 45s, 50s, 10, 15 years younger, people can easily get away with that. 10, 12 years younger. And then once you hit 60 and above, it's a free-for-all. You date whoever attracts you and whoever is giving you those indicators of their interest. And then you decide who you want in your life. But dating younger bodes well for your overall happiness, for your dick game, and for the respect that she has for you. All right. Number 16, why to avoid girls who travel? Because they do a lot of fucking, a lot of random fucking whenever girls travel a lot. These passport girls, you know, who are always seemingly doing solo travel or going on a lot of girls' trips, very rarely is there actually not a man involved somewhere, or multiple men. And here's the reality. She may not even remember his name. So girls love to use travel as an excuse to bang random guys, to have more experiences, but it's all in the name of loving travel, as if it's like this cultural, highness that they have, that's really just a blown up excuse to bang men. Honest to God. All right. Number 17. Environment matters when meeting girls, when wanting to surround yourself with possible girls for pickup. Social circle. Environment matters. Who you surround yourself matters. Where you are. If you live in a town of 800 people, more likely than not, it's going to be hard to pick up chicks. You might be related to half the town. You might have already dated half the town. It's going to be difficult to meet new girls to date if you are living in a rural area and have lived there any time at all, really. You've probably already dated any of the eligible girls that you would have any interest in whatsoever. In a major metropolitan area, you're going to have a lot more choice and ways to play than you would in something more rural or more countryside. So Fort Worth always likes to say that if you're living in a major metropolitan area, especially like we do in a real entertainment hub of the area, you've got more girls within a 5-minute radius that are available and willing and able and exciting to bang than you can ever get through, than you could ever connect with. It's a wonderland of pussy. Girls are always coming in, they're always going out, and there's no shortage of available girls to hook up with or to build relationship with in a more metropolitan city. If you live more in a suburb, you know, it can get a little bit tricky because a lot of suburbs are really just kind of bedroom communities that don't have a lot of their own influences, own appeal. So you have to go to the city to do things. That can get a little bit tricky. If you have a real desire to make meeting women and dating multiple women a big part of your social life, I fully recommend getting yourself in a more exciting environment, getting yourself around location dependent on nightlife, on fun, on culture, on entertainment, and just make it happen. It doesn't have to be a forever thing. You don't have to raise your kids in the middle of Dallas, Texas, but give yourself a few years to really experience that kind of nightlife. Fort Worth tells the story where when he got divorced, he moved to this cultural entertainment center specifically because he said it's going to be impossible to be depressed or down when surrounded by this kind of energy. There's an abundance mindset that comes with being able to look out of your window and see just crowds of cute women walking around dressed to the nines, wanting to go out, wanting to have fun, and wanting to play and meet you. So environment matters. Keep that in mind whenever you are in this mode of wanting to meet more girls. It goes a long way. Number 18, doesn't count sex. This kind of goes along with the travel sex. It's very much doesn't count. Girls genuinely do not remember one-night stands. We don't remember, the guys who didn't become real relationships. Girls will only count sex, especially when talking to other guys, that was in the confines of a relationship, something that they considered dating. Now, make no mistake, girls will date one night at a time. So a girl could talk about someone that she was dating at the time, and it really was a date or two. Like, it wasn't a relationship. Girls will use this terminology to kind of make herself feel and sound less slutty than she was, and it may have been a phase. It may have been 5-10 years ago. It may have been yesterday, but girls will only count sex in their heads and to other people that they believe was as a part of a relationship. So, it's a popular thing around this neck of the woods to say whatever number she says is her cock count, you can multiply that by 2 or 3 or 5, depending on kind of the type of girl she is and her age and her kind of evidence of experience with men. But make no mistake, there are always guys in a girl's past that she honestly just doesn't consider as being a part of her count. She forgets about them. She doesn't want to talk about them. She doesn't want to think about them. They were losers. They didn't turn out to be boyfriends. It was, a faceless, nameless dick in a grungy bathroom in a bar at 4 a.m. There are all these guys, and there are a lot of them that didn't count to a lot of women. Number 19, handling rejection. Handle it by responding with aloof indifference, okay, no problem. Have a good time. Do not be reactionary. Do not teach her a lesson over it. Do not be angry. Do not be reactionary, because girls have all had stories of times when they rejected in some way and the man went flying off the handle. So women are, even the strongest women are generally weaker than the weakest man. Just naturally, we are definitely a weaker sex. We might be, we might think we're going to rip you a new one, but it takes like 2 seconds to pin us down. Every girl has a story where a guy had an extreme negative response. And so when we are rejecting your advances, it's often just trying to do it in such a way that we're not triggering you to be reactionary, scary. We don't know, you're an unknown, so we're just trying to get out of there as safely as possible. So don't react in a crazy negative way. And oftentimes, if you're just chill and okay, and go on about your business like it never even happened, like that rejection never happened, oftentimes that girl will rethink that no, and it will become a yes. Now, CD, let's hold that thought. So in the discussion about doesn't count sex, CD says, last girlfriend told me about a couple of times that didn't pan out to more than one night. Exes are always the bad guy and get forgotten. Absolutely. Absolutely. And girls circle back to exes all the time, which also goes back to not being overly reactionary and severe whenever you're rejected, because girls will circle back. If they've had sex with you once, you're already a notch, you're safe. If they want to circle back, they'll have sex with you again if you just aren't an asshole in like a kick the dog kind of way. Sexy asshole and kick the dog asshole are two very different things. Last but not least, 20. Body count, when is it important? So for men, you guys can fake it till you make it. Learning goes a long way. Educating yourself in the ways of women and the female body goes a long way in making sure that girls can't pick up how many girls you actually have experience with. So you can truly fake it till you make it with just a little education and a little practice. You do not have to have been the town gigolo to be confident with women in attraction and sexual environments. And so if that's you, you're in a great place, because you're learning and digging into the things that make your life easier and will accelerate your learning. Just by being here, this is a great first step. With women, oftentimes body count does not necessarily determine how good she's going to be in bed. It doesn't determine if she's going to be a great fuck or enthusiastic or any of this stuff, because girls could have 60, 90, 100 notches under their belt, but they just laid there. Girls don't have to work very hard in sex even to make you come. Oftentimes just the visual of you banging a girl that you desire gets you off. I mean, this is why porn exists. This is why, magazines show sexy photos. You are visually stimulated as men. Women don't really have to do all that much to be, good in bed. You guys have very low standards. She gives you a hole to fuck, and you're usually pretty happy. But her notch count does not determine if she's enthusiastic, if she's takes action, if she plays along. It just means that she's there and she got fucked in some hole that she has on her body, some orifice. So, but a girl who maybe has had fewer sexual partners, maybe they were more serious relationships, maybe she was a little bit more experimental because of the nature of the relationships she's had. Maybe those girls could be a lot more enthusiastic, but with fewer counts. So body count is not an indicator of the kind of lover you will actually be. It's more about how you respond to the person in front of you and how she's responding to you. Now, is anyone else sick of the sound of my voice? Because if you were tuning in last night to the hour and a half that Fort Worth and I were on the Saturday night drinks and AUA with us, that was such a good time. But we are definitely got all our words in. And then tuning in this morning as well. I hope that this 20 question list this is truly the 20 most asked questions that Fort Worth and I get in all walks, whether it's in the DMs, whether it's in the feed, in the news feed, or in our consulting. So it's just an important list to kind of revisit from time to time and let you understand from a female perspective why this is so important. So important. Oh, we have a good question. Let me see. Hold that thought. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So Jake asks, what are the best places or cities to meet cougars? Okay. First of all, and we've had kind of a running joke about this one, but right now, my number one key to finding cougars is to take up pickleball. There is no better place to meet women who are a little bit older, no matter what your age is. And CD asks a good question. He says, how old are you, Jake? But truly, there are girls who are 25 and there are girls who are 65 who are playing pickleball every single fucking day and loving it. And they would love nothing more than for you to be there, available to them to play with, because make no mistake, cougars are always looking for fresh meat. So I would say major metropolitan areas, places where women can be a little bit more anonymous and a little bit more free flowing. I will say, and Fort Worth and I were just talking about this morning over breakfast, that past about 40 years old, women start to not worry so much about what other people think. This is good and bad. But for the sake of chasing cougars down, women who like younger men, who are true cougars, they do not give a fuck what anyone thinks about their younger boyfriend. So girls who are cougars are always on the hunt for fresh meat. And it's a matter of environment and putting yourself where they are. So the cougars that you are most interested in, where do they hang out? What kind of women are they? What are their pastimes and activities? And how can you put yourself in that environment to make sure that you're meeting them and establishing yourself in their social circles? Cougars work off social circle and social referrals very heavily. So if you want to date an older woman, I highly recommend that you put yourself where they are. So whether your ideal older woman is found at NASCAR or at the country club or anywhere in between, but truly, if you just love to bang older women, the first step is you've got to learn pickleball. And that's true whether you're 19 years old or whether you are 50. So I hope that helps with that question, Jake. And thank you so much for asking it. That's a great question. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you to Fort Worth for manning the chatterbox over there and making sure that I always look good. And if you are not on his or my email list, I think that is where we put out our best work. That's where we put a lot of effort into. We say, We say that we email once a week. That is a very low bar that kind of takes some of the pressure off. But more often than not, you're going to get 3 to 5 high quality emails from us a week. That is kind of our real goal in the background. And we try not to just hammer you over the head with sales. We try to give you really good content and information and learning opportunities. So every once in a while, I always like to say, mama's got to make the rent. So every once in a while, you're going to get a straight sales email from me. But more often than not, you're going to get hard-hitting, real learning opportunity and content from both of us. So Fort Worth has put our signups in the chat box right there. You're also going to find them in the description box down below. Whew. Thank you so much for joining me on this Bunny Show Live. Remember, Monday through Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, you can wake up with Bunny. What I'm doing is every single morning I'm waking up, I'm making coffee, and I'm jumping on live with you guys. And we're going through social media feed. We're talking about things through that girl brain lens, and we're kind of talking about why stuff works, what works, and how to maximize it for your own relationships and attraction. That is enough about that. I hope that you guys go and have an amazing day. Thank you so much for tuning into Bunny Church this morning. In all things life and attraction, I want you to win. Bye.